Hello, my friends, and welcome back to the Morning Mindset. I hope you're ready to get your minds aligned with the truth of God. And I want to thank those of you who have reached out to me recently. I'm thinking of Chris and Lori and Debbie and others. I would love to hear from you. If you would like to send me some email and let me know how you heard about the Morning Mindset and how it's benefiting your life and how I can pray for you, I would love to do so. You can reach out, Carey, C-A-R-E-Y, at careygreen.com. All right, let's dive into Proverbs chapter 9 once again. We're looking at verses 13 through 18 today. And in the previous sessions, Solomon, the writer, has been personifying wisdom. Well, today he's going to switch it around, and he's going to personify someone he calls folly, which is actually foolishness. And he says, the woman folly is loud. She is seductive and knows nothing. So think about this. A loud woman calling out to people, making a big ruckus, and she is very alluring, very seductive, but she knows nothing. She's just empty. There's nothing there. In verse 14, she sits at the door of her house. She takes a seat on the highest places of the town. So she's getting herself out into the public eye, into view, trying to gain attention. And in verse 15, calling to those who pass by, who are going straight on their way. Whoever is simple, let him turn in here. So does that phrase sound familiar to you? That's exactly what wisdom does. Wisdom calls out and says those exact words. Whoever is simple, let him turn in here. And wisdom's goal is to help the simple grow in wisdom. But that's not what folly is about. That's not what she's doing. She's mimicking what wisdom does to deceive and to fool people into the way of foolishness. To him who lacks sense, she says, stolen water is sweet, and bread eaten in secret is pleasant. But he does not know that the dead are there, that her guests are in the depths of Sheol. You see, what the writer's doing for us here is he's pulling back the curtain to reveal what is behind foolish decisions and what is behind the bent we have toward foolish decisions. And what he's revealing is that there is some deceit there. There's always a promise being made to us when foolishness and temptation reach out to us. But that promise can never be fulfilled because it's a lie. The woman foolishness or the way of foolishness does not have the capacity to fulfill on the promises it makes. Verse 17 is a great example. It says, stolen water is sweet, and bread eaten in secret is pleasant. So there's a promise there. You're going to get sweetness from doing this thing. You're going to get something pleasant from doing this thing. And while that may be true on a very minor scale, the reality is that the dead are there. And her guests, those who have fallen for her line in the past, are in the depths of Sheol, which is the Hebrew word for the place of the dead. You see, this sort of allure and temptation is a trick. It's a trap. It's going to lure us into the way that brings us to a destruction in our own lives. Now, this idea of stolen water being sweet, well, it could literally be this belief that someone might have or might be taught or convinced in believing that if they steal things, there will be more satisfaction there because they got it by their conniving and by their smarts and by their savvy. But the reality is that theft and the act of stealing corrupts you inside more than you even know. And it doesn't just have to be about theft. It could be about spending time with another person's spouse in a romantic way. It could be about adultery. It could be about lust. It could be about anything where we're trying to satisfy our need and our desire in a way that God says is not healthy and is not wise. You see, this idea is that we step into the path of foolishness when we buy the lie that there is some sort of satisfaction and benefit to it. And the reality is there's nothing there for us but death. Jesus, guide us away from foolishness and trickery that would lure us into the way of death. Give us life as you've promised, and guide us in the way of wisdom. Enable us to have eyes that are open and aware and growing in wisdom, that we can discern what is right for our lives, and that we'll have the self-control to do what is right in our lives. Jesus, please provide for us everything we need to avoid foolishness and to move toward wisdom. Do it for us in this day. In your name we pray.